Hi y'all, I'm Morgan. Welcome back to my channel. Now that we're in November, we can officially start the Triwizard-a-thon tournament. This is going to be my first read-a-thon, and I'm so excited. The Triwizard-a-thon is being hosted and was created by Tabby at Gryffindor Bookworm and Leanda Brooks. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced her name. I heard it both ways. Oh my goodness. Okay. They have broken this down into 6 chapters for the different themes, prompts. It is all based upon the Triwizard tournament in the Goblet of Fire. So the first chapter is called The Weighing of the Wands. Each chapter is broken down also into 4 prompts. The smallest being worth 10 points, then 20, 30, 40 points. It's supposed to be in differentiating difficulty. For The Weighing of the Wands, I picked the 40-point prompt, which is a book that has a character that wields a wand or a staff. This should be a no-brainer, super easy. And I even thought of a book right away. I was like, yes, this is the next one in my series. I can totally get that one. But the library didn't have it. It's like on hold. So it's like, oh no. Okay, find the next one. Or, you could be like Harry Potter. But I didn't want to start with Harry Potter because I'm going to be reading that next year with my son when he turns 11. So I was like, no. And I am trying to do no rereads except for my Wheel of Time one within the read-a-thon as well. So I'm trying to pick all books that I have not read before. That way I get to read something new. And because I did a lot of rereads last month, actually, or September, both months. Okay, but I did find one that I haven't read that was interesting sounding, and I've a little bit looked at the manga for it, but still. So, for my 40-point prompt of The Weighing of the Wands, I am going to be reading Witch and Wizard by James Patterson. This book follows Wisteria and Whitford Allgood as they are separated from their family and accused of being a witch and a wizard and wanted by the new government that has taken over called the New Order, which bans pretty much all creativity, free expression, and does not generally like kids because kids will speak out and not conform. And being magical is apparently this extremist point of problem for the government. So I did actually start this yesterday, so I'm about halfway through, and so far I do like it. It is teen-ish, but still it's going pretty good, and I do like most of James Patterson's work, so I like it. We will see how it keeps going. Okay, the first task, I actually have 2 books because they said you can do as many prompts as you want, of course, to get as many points as you can, because I forgot to mention that. In order to get to the final chapter of the read-a-thon, which is the graveyard, you have to be able to touch the Triwizard Cup. And to get to the Triwizard Cup, you have to accumulate 240 points by either doing enough prompts to get to 40 points or being able to complete the bonus task. But for Chapter 2, the first task, I am doing the 2 prompts, one of which being the 20-point prompt, which is a book with something flying. And they said this could be any type of flying, like magic-y flying, sci-fi spaceships, which completely opened this up and allowed me to pick my audiobook for Skyward. Oh my god, I've been waiting to read this, so I'm so excited. Skyward takes place on another planet where the entire civilization has to live underground because they are constantly attacked by outside forces, and their only line of defense is their fighter pilots who fly into space and attack their enemies. And the main character, whose name I do not remember right now, our main character though wants to be a fighter pilot very badly, but something happened with her father, who was also a fighter pilot, so she is not really trusted, and I'm just dying to get into another Brandon Sanderson novel, so yay! The second book that I'm doing for the first task is going to be my physical book that falls into the 40-point prompt, where the characters have to find an item or items. For this prompt, I'm going to be reading Wicked Charms by Janet Ivanovich and Mr. Sutton, because I do not want to butcher his name. This is the third book in the Lizzie and Diesel series, where Lizzie is a very talented baker in Salem, Massachusetts, but she also has another special talent for finding unique items. Diesel has recruited her mostly against her better judgment and willingness to help find the 7 stones that represent the original sins. The first book was about finding the lust stone, and then the second book about the gluttonous stone. This one, they are going after the Arbor stone, last seen a century ago by a bootlegging pirate, and we shall see how this one turns out. These are always very fun, kind of fast, light reads. I enjoyed them because they're kind of goofy, but that's nice when you're reading more intense fantasies or murder thrillers. It's nice just to throw in some fluff and fun. Okay, for chapter 3 of the Triwizard-a-thon, we are going to the Yule Ball. Here, this one I found a bit more problematic to find books that fit in the prompts. It didn't seem like it would be that hard, you know, a book with a love triangle, but without wanting to do a reread or just read something that I wasn't that interested in, I couldn't hardly find anything that I felt fit this prompt. So I kind of gave up on that one. So instead, I'm going to try to go for the 40-point prompt, which is characters from a different background coming together for, just for coming together. It doesn't even say to do anything. It's just for different backgrounds coming together. For this one, I'm actually going to read a manga. I'm going to try to read the first volume of Fairy Tale and see how that goes. I've heard really good things about the series, and of course it has the anime that spun off of it as well. And yeah, I just kind of want to try it and see how it goes. So I will be picking that one up shortly. Once I get to that task, or closer to that task, I will go pick up the first volume and see how it goes. I don't actually know a whole lot about the storyline, other than the main character wants to join a guild, and I'm pretty sure people have magic. Yep, I'm going into this a little bit totally blind, but that's okay. And it'll be a quick read. After the Yule Ball is chapter 4, the egg. Once we've cracked this prompt, we will know what our second task is. For this one, I actually kind of try to pick out a book for all the prompts, just in case. And yeah, I'm going to do the 40-point prompt, which is to read a book with gillyweed or weeds, grass on the cover. And I'm going to attempt to be reading The Unremembered Girl by Eliza Maxwell. This one I'd gotten from Amazon First Reads a while back because it did sound interesting. But then it just kept getting pushed back, which could actually go with one of the other prompts too, but oh my goodness, I barely remember what the story is about, which is horrible. But since it is by an author that probably isn't talked about a lot at any rate, then it does sound like something that, you know, I should give a try, because I picked it so that I would read it, and then I forgot that I owned it. So we will give that one a try and see how it turns out, and I will let you guys know along the way. Now we are into the second task. This one is probably going to be kind of the difficult one. So I have one book picked, but it will work for 2 prompts. So for the first prompt that I'm going to try is the 40-point prompt, which is read a book with 240 pages in 24 hours. It's been a really long time, I think, since I've read a book in 24 hours, but we are going to give it a shot. And this one can also fall under prompt for the 20 points, which is with sea creatures in it. The book I picked is The Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. This one sounds kind of like an old twist, a new twist on the old Little Mermaid retelling, because it's not actually about the mermaid. It is about Ursula, though names have been changed in this story. And it starts with her losing her best friend to the sea, and then her best friend comes back, but things become different. And I think it sounds really, really interesting, because I do like fairy tale retellings. I like fairy stories. After our 24-hour reading sprint, or falling back and just having to use it as the 20-point prompt, we will get to move into chapter 6, the third task, which is the maze. For this one, I'm actually going to try to do the 10-point prompt, which is read a book that got lost in your TBR, because what better time to knock out the TBR than during a readathon? And I have already actually put several of my books that were on my TBR within the readathon prompts, so that works. For this one though, I am going to read The Revelation Code by Andy McDermott. This is book something in the Nina Wild and Eddie Chase series. I like this series a lot. It is full of action and blowing stuff up and mythical historical sites. Like in the first book, Nina Wild is our archaeologist main character, finds Atlantis. Of course it's a book, not real, but that's just so cool. Atlantis. And she goes on to find other made up historical mythical sites in the other books, and she kicks butt. She goes from just being a college-y professor, no, she's never a professor, but she's just a nerdish type person, to actually holding her own. I think she shot somebody in at least one of the books. I love it. I just do. These are so much fun, action-packed books, but it is lost on my TBR considered because I forgot that I had this one. I thought I'd already read all the ones that I owned, and then while looking over my book choices, realized this was here, and I don't remember reading it. So, 10 points, nice and chunky, which comes into play for chapter 7, the bonus task. For the bonus task, if up until this point you have read 2,000 pages, audiobooks, any kind of included, then you get an additional 150 points for winning this random Quidditch match. Because you caught the golden snitch. I should probably link the thing that they made for this, because with pictures and their words, it would be a little bit more understandable. I'm sorry if I'm not doing the best job explaining it to you. I'm totally linking both of their videos, announcements, everything down below, so you can check out their channels and check out their videos, and maybe even start the readathon participation with us. So, with all of the books totaled up together, I will be over 2,000 points and be able to get the extra 2,000 pages and be able to get the 150 points to be able to move on to the graveyard, as long as everything goes according to plan. I'm not going to talk about the graveyard today because that one does involve me getting these 150 points probably, which involves me getting to the 2,000 pages from all the various prompts. It shouldn't be too hard, especially since I did work in some backups to be able to definitely push me there. But just in case, we won't talk about the graveyard today. We'll talk about it once we get closer and discuss which books will go with each prompt, because for the graveyard you have to answer every prompt to be able to make it back to Hogwarts. I will go ahead and spoil one thing. My Wheel of Time reread will either fall as a backup in chapter 6, the third task, or definitely gonna be as one of my graveyard books. It's a little sad though, because to make it like in my graveyard books, because then I can't read it until so late in the month, possibly, unless I just speed read through everything, but then that's not enjoyable. That is everything I'm going to be reading for the Triwizard-a-thon, and I'm going to link both Gryffindor Bookworm and Leanda Brooks' channels down below, and their video on introducing the tournament. Or maybe their live show where they answered the questions for it. But I really hope that you'll keep following along with me and we can talk about books, and maybe even you'll join the read along too. This is so exciting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.